Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another session. I hope you're doing well. Today is Wednesday, the 25th of June 2025. All right, let's start with, as usual, the dollar index, and then you go on to the other pairs. So starting with the dollar index, yesterday we had a nice down close. We have a volume imbalance created. That's the volume imbalance, and the drawn liquidity, as I mentioned, is down here. So we are expecting price to continue going down, especially possibly today. Now today can end up being an up candle, which is redistribution, and then we continue going down, or today can be a down day, right? Preferably a down day, aggressive down day, and then wipe out this low. So let's see this New York session. They've now touched, as you can see, or almost, let me draw it properly, right there. They are now almost going to touch the lower portion of the volume imbalance. The lower portion of the volume imbalance is now almost going to be touched. Now once they touch it, I'm expecting price to give us a reaction. So between now and between now to 2 p.m, watch the 1 hour candle. As soon as we get this type of candle where we close immediately below an up candle, you can start looking for a sell idea for a continuation to the downside. Okay, so within the next hour or so, you can start looking and getting an idea of whether price is gonna go down or not. All right, so let's see, because this movement up is not a reversal. This is compressed, so this is redistribution. Price is being distributed, and then we might see a continuation to the downside. Now your job is to just be patient and wait. Okay, don't do anything, let price show you. Now if they trade through it, then like I said, they might come back up into this area up here, the 98.94, and then this fair value gap low, which comes in at 98.81. Those two levels can be used as an area if they go through the volume imbalance. Okay, if they go through the volume imbalance, then you can use that as an area to expect price to trade back to, and then price will then resume going lower, right? Okay, now If that happens, you're gonna turn over to euro, and you're gonna start looking for reasons for price to continue going higher. I think between euro and pound, both of them can go up today, especially pound. All right, I'm interested in pound moving away from here to continue going up. Euro can do the same thing, but yesterday I did mention that 1.16400 level. Right, they touched it and then price rejected. It didn't give any aggressive move away from it, so the idea is they might still press higher, but then I prefer the British pound, because the British pound is not having any sort of resistance level. Okay, there's nothing in here to resist price. If you go to the monthly, there's nothing here to resist price, so price is free to continue going higher. But with the euro, we have this down candle that can resist price. Okay, so that's why I prefer the euro. Sorry, I prefer the British pound to the euro. Okay, so the expectation is lower dollar, higher euro and pound, but preferably pound from this order block that formed during the New York session. Okay, so I think yesterday when I was talking about this fair value gap, New York session gap, London session gap, reacting and sending price higher, if you had bought it with your stop loss below that, that would have been a nice day trade. The same thing today, right? Where we are, you buy exactly where we are, literally right now, with your stop loss below that, and then you aim for this high for a day trade, and then maybe you leave something on for a continuation. If we can continue going higher, then you leave something on for a continuation. Dollar yen. So dollar yen has moved back into that daily inverted fair value gap. So again, I'm expecting lower prices. So watch the 1 hour session. Do we get an immediate close during the New York session? If we do, that is your key, or that is your cue, or that is your trigger to start looking for potential movement to the downside. And you can look for something similar to this, where we had the up candle with a down close, and then price pull back, and then we go down. You can look for something like that today. Gold failed to take out this low, and like I said, if price does that, usually that's a trap. They will come back aggressively for it before going up. So I'm not a fan of buying this as a breaker right now. Okay, it can go up, but I'm not a fan of doing that because of this low and that low being left. There might be a surprise move to the downside to wipe everyone that buys it before it goes up. So personally, I would say stay away from buying right now, and then wait for this low and that low to be taken first. That's an advice. Okay, you don't have to do it. If you want to buy, you're more than welcome. If you believe that this is a breaker and it'll go up, you're more than welcome to use it to buy. But my advice is obviously wait for these equal lows to be taken before you engage in a buy. This is just based on experience, and it's also much safer that way. Crude oil, I think we mentioned that if we close like this, we're gonna continue going lower. to attack these lows. So crude oil is a sell during the New York session. Look for a sell to continue going down. I think it pulled back into let me see if there was a gap. Didn't quite touch it, so I'll have this level on my chart for manipulation during the New York session, a run up into it, and then a rejection to continue going lower. And in terms of targets, I think they've already touched this, so the next target will be this candle's high, 63.68. 63.68. That's the next downside objective. So if we are to rally between 2 and 3, look out for that small gap that I've identified to act as resistance, and then send price to 63.68. all right. Okay, so that is that for crude oil. It can continue going lower. If we trade through that level, we can accelerate and close in this gap, but this is a gap that formed in Asia, so not the best level for targeting. So the actual true target would be 59.34. 59.34. Maybe in here it might, resist a little bit, because we have a gap that was formed in London and it wasn't respected. Okay, so they might probably pause a little bit there, but ultimately 59.34 can be the objective that they might reach for. But today 63.68, that is the target for the day. If you see any pullback, this gap here can hold, but I prefer the one in London, in New York session, because they failed to touch it. So that probably might have engineered liquidity above it, and they might go for it before going down. So if you want to sell, you can do either this one, but your stop loss should go above the gap, with your target here for first objective, and then you can leave something on for continuation to the downside. Okay, and you get in this one first, because it can also hit that London gap and go down without going to that New York session gap. Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next ES. So ES yesterday did amazing, as we were expecting. They actually moved away from this London session gap and then moved up. I have done, or let me put it this way, my time with one of my private students is done. She's now a graduate from my tuition. She spent the last 1 year and 6 months. Yeah, she spent the last 1 year and 6 months under myself, and we've been doing sessions twice a week, and she is the reason why I look at the ES. So since she's done, probably my interaction with ES might be low, but yesterday there was a nice trade idea that formed. Let me bring your attention to it. here on the 5-minute chart. I didn't trade it because I was busy doing stuff, but right in here, this down candle that formed inside the 3 o'clock candle, that was a nice order block for a potential move. Now, why is this an order block? Because we took out a London or pre-New York move, the low, we took it and then shifted, and when we shifted, it created a gap here. When price traded into the gap, displaced, created an order block. So that order block was the entry. So long this candle, stop loss below the gap, and then 2 to 1 towards the level that I gave, which is here, right? That was a trade idea, and we are yet to get there. So this New York session, there will be a continuation. You can look at this between 2 for on a 5 or 15 minutes to go up there. So I want you to pay attention to this 6167.25. that is the current draw on liquidity. So you can start looking for reasons for price to reach for 6167 level. During the New York session, and you can look for the same thing that happened here to happen there, and then you buy it to go for that level. Okay, okay, I think that is super clear. So let's move on to our crypto market, and let's start with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin did eventually create the fair value gap. So as I said, if that is created, 110681 will be the draw on liquidity. So we are looking for a continuation to the upside for 110681. That is where currently price is going. So look for potential buys. Let's go to the H4, because I did mention that this candle here was the reason why price paused, and once we trade through it, the price will start making its way towards that level. So now that we are above it, they might trade back into it and then go up. Now if you see a down candle trading down and then they close above it, you can use it as your entry, and then you can start aiming for the 110681 level. Okay, so pay attention to price action as it is now. If they can trade down back to this with a down candle, and then a follow-up candle which closes above the down candle immediately. You can use that as your entry technique to send price towards the 110681 level. Okay, so yeah, and with that, all the other currencies is also a potential buy. So Solana, you can start looking for a buy because it's likely gonna trade up in here. It's gonna trade up in here. All right, it has also created a fair value gap, so that's nice. If we should come down for whatever reason, then they will tap into the gap and then go up. If it does that, let's highlight it. If it does that, what do you need to do? If we come in here, wait for a rejection, let them close above a down candle like this, then buy the very next candle, and you can hold on to it. That's if they come into the gap. If they don't, then obviously just keep buying on the lower time frame. How do you get in? Wait for a down candle to be closed above, for example this one here, not this one, this one, because this looks like a swing, and then put your stop loss below, expect expansion to the upside. Ethereum, let's see on the daily. Yeah, so that also created a gap, but it's facing one gap. Yeah, it's facing this gap here, so they might trade back into this before going up. If that happens again, look for a potential rejection as soon as they dip into the gap with an immediate close. Then you start looking for the buy, because I think this is a strong gap, so they might drop into this one before resuming going up. So watch, if you see one candle do something like this, wait for the next one to close back above, then buy the next one, and then you'll be aiming for 2680, this scenario. Hype, I think I said that hype is not tradable because of the fact that price did not dip into the weekly gap, so leave hype alone. XRP is also tradable. This clinical highs is likely going to be to draw liquidity. This auto block here, or this down candle, your stop can go below that, and then aim for that equal high. It looks too clean in my opinion. That is attracting price. Maybe a pause in here is possible, but ultimately that equal high will be taken. And looking at it from a structural perspective, all of this, right, consolidation, and then we manipulate down. So if we break it, if we can break this, then I think we'll be coming for this high. If there's any gap, they might fill it, but then we'll be coming for this high and that high. Okay, it's 130. Let me go and check, because I had a trade on British pound. Okay, they're still inside the gap. Let me check the dollar. Okay, nothing really has happened. It's all good. So XRP, we might continue going up. Not might, I think that's what's gonna happen. They'll continue going up. Today might end up being an up candle as well. If for whatever reason they dip into the gap, I've shown you how to go about it, so you can look for a buy. Chachki, that also looks like it's coming for the gap, but as I mentioned yesterday, between Chachki and Hype, they are not tradable, but the rest is tradable. AI16Z is trading back into the gap. We want a rejection. Okay, we don't want it to close below Sunday's low, or even the opening price, sorry, the high. We don't want price to close below the high, so we should stay inside this gap and then expand up. For our lovely buyers, if you're not in yet, then wait for something like this, or even where we are right now, you can literally buy with a liquidation or stop loss below probably the up candles low here, because if we come all the way down here, it's not good anymore. It might continue going lower. Okay, so either you buy this gap or wait for them to run up close above it, then you buy the next candle. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. I'm very optimistic about the Bitcoin market going higher, okay, because of how they've managed to go above that up candle over there. So that should reflect on all the other cryptocurrencies and then shoot them up, apart from Hype and Chachki. Okay, so that's pretty much it for now. Back to this. Watch the dollar and see if by 2 p.m. we get a rejection. If we get, then you start looking for longs on the euro and then the pound, especially the pound, and then with dollar yen, wait for rejection, then you start looking for the sell. If you don't get it, just stay put, be patient, eventually will come and you can take it. All right, so that's pretty much it for now. Thank you very much for tuning in. As I gave the announcement, Friday I will not be here. Next week Monday I will not be here, so take note of it. And then in September I am not going to be around for 21 days. I'll be going away for 21 days, so in September I will not be around for 21 days. Okay, so have a wonderful day, enjoy yourself, and I'll see you same time tomorrow. Fingers crossed, ES will give you a trade idea to go to 6167. Dollar yen will reject, and then either euro or pound will give you a trade idea, and then stay away from gold. And crude oil can also give you a trade idea. Okay, perfect. Have a wonderful day.